The name Mike Tyson is widely known for striking fear into the hearts of many men. Tyson himself has had a storied history, which included numerous boxing championships, growing up in tough and unforgiving circumstances, rising to the top of professional boxing, and even a stint in prison. But today, Tyson seems to have turned over a new leaf, entering the world of acting and becoming a sweetheart to many. Unfortunately, there are still things that people miss, often forgetting about the kind of man Mike Tyson truly is. But today, we look at the ugly truth about Mike Tyson that you probably missed, or simply have chosen to ignore. Who is Mike Tyson? Born Michael Gerard Tyson on June 30th, 1966, in Brooklyn, New York, Mike Tyson never had an easy life. In fact, he had to deal with the death of his sister at the tender age of 24, who passed away from a heart attack. However, this is only the tip of the iceberg of the Tyson family secrets. You see, his father, listed as Purcell, is from Jamaica, and he found himself being a humble cab driver in the streets of New York. The problem was with his mother. According to many reports, Tyson's mother was described as a somewhat promiscuous woman, working for the man who Mike would come to know as his father. This man was Jimmy Kirkpatrick, a local pimp from Greertown, North Carolina. During the next few decades, Mike had a very tough couple of years. According to police reports, he was arrested no fewer than 38 times by the tender age of just 13. This would be compounded by the strenuous relationship Tyson developed with his mother's new man, which would often drive the young man to find himself in the wrong crowd. The upside to all of this is that Tyson had a very unique skill. In fact, this skill would not only make Mike Tyson a household name, who is still talked about today, but it would also lead to his inevitable downfall, which cost him everything. Becoming a boxer. Everyone knows that Mike Tyson was an incredible boxer, but he actually started his career in juvenile detention when a man named Bobby Stewart, a juvenile detention center counselor and former boxer, spent some time with Mike. He considered him to be an outstanding fighter, focusing on training the young star. Thanks to this training, Bobby Stewart introduced Mike to Cus D'Amato, who would later also become his manager in the ring. Tyson would become so obsessed with his boxing ambitions that he later dropped out of high school to pursue this goal. However, what many don't understand is that Tyson was driven by the opportunity to care for his family. Things didn't pan out as Tyson planned, who would also lose his mother at the age of just 16. This ultimately left him in the care of Cus D'Amato, who would legally become his guardian and push him more towards boxing. The death of his mother would ultimately steer the young man into very tough teenage years, with him even admitting as much later. Tyson had the following to say: "I never saw my mother happy with me and proud of me for doing something. She only knew me as being a wild kid running the streets, coming home with new clothes that she knew I didn't pay for. I never got a chance to talk to her or know about her. Professionally, it has no effect, but it's crushing emotionally and personally." This would ultimately become one of the driving factors that would push Tyson to win 2 gold medals at the Junior Olympics in 1981 and 82, before adding the 1984 Nation Golden Gloves gold medal to his collection and capping it off with heavyweight gold at the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. But this was not the only thing Tyson was good at, and being 18 years old at this time meant that Mike had to pursue bigger things, which is how you might remember the man from his early years of boxing. The greatest boxer of a generation. At the age of 18, Tyson was slowly climbing the ranks, winning 26 of his first 28 bouts by knockout, with 16 of these coming in the first round. However, tragedy once again struck, as legal guardian and mentor D'Amato passed away in 1985, leaving Tyson all on his own once again. Tyson had to tough it out on the streets of New York, earning very little money as he made his way higher up in the rankings. He would have to wait a year until 1986, when he would have his first opportunity at gold. At the tender age of just 20 years old, Tyson went one-on-one with Trevor Berbick, who he would absolutely obliterate in the second round. This would earn him the coveted WBC Heavyweight Championship. However, in the next year, he also added the WBA and IBF titles to his collection, running through Tony Tucker and James Smith. This would also be the first time that newspapers spoke of Tyson in the same light as Ali and Rocky Marciano. By the age of just 21, Mike Tyson was not only a unified heavyweight champion, but also the undisputed world heavyweight boxing champion. Things were going incredibly well for the man known as Iron Mike during these few years. But his emotional trauma was beginning to surface, starting with a divorce from his wife Robin Givens, whilst his future contract was being fought over by Don King and Bill Clayton. Once Mike chose Bill Clayton, he fired longtime trainer Kevin Rooney, leading to a massive drop in his fighting style, noticed by some of the expert critics of the time. But after his shocking loss to Buster Douglas in a fight where Tyson was the favorite, having odds of 42-1 in his favor, his complete downward spiral would begin. Using this loss as motivation, he dispatched everyone who would come, even admitting that the loss to Douglas was the greatest moment of his career and gave him the opportunity to become even better. That was until July of 1991, when Tyson found himself in the crosshairs of the law. The ugly truth about Mike Tyson everyone seems to miss. At the age of 27, Mike Tyson found himself arrested on charges of rape in July of 1991. The accuser was the 18-year-old Desiree Washington. The trial would last from January 1992 to February of the same year, in which Tyson would eventually be found guilty and serve 3 years in what is known today as Plainfield Correctional Facility. But it was what happened in prison that would change Tyson forever. You see, inside prison, Tyson would continue his training as much as possible, often even resorting to shadow boxing against walls. However, what is truly frightening is that upon his release in 1995, Tyson was sporting tattoos of not only tennis player Arthur Ashe, but also that of Chinese Communist leader Mao Zedong. A tattoo of Marxist revolutionary Che Guevara was also noticed on his body. This immediately signaled the intense rebellious change in his personality, and many people immediately noticed that Mike had become a changed man thanks to his stint in prison. Coming out of prison, Iron Mike once again took off, and would once again be crowned as the unified world heavyweight champion. But once again, his regard for the rules would lead to one of the most controversial moments in boxing history, one that would be remembered for the rest of his life. Tyson versus Holyfield. In one of the greatest boxing matches ever, on November 9, 1996, in Las Vegas, Nevada, Tyson was the overwhelming favorite heading into the fight. However, Holyfield, who was in the fourth fight of his own comeback, would emerge victorious, beating Tyson by TKO. But due to numerous headbutts ruled as accidental during the fight, a rematch had to occur. The rematch was scheduled for June 27, 1997, a match dubbed as the Sound and the Fury at the notorious MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas. Whilst the fight kicked off as expected, and both were paid in excess of $30 million, the fight would ultimately end in a disqualification. Holyfield would come out as the victor, with Tyson biting not one, but both of Evander Holyfield's ears, ultimately leading to disqualification. But even though Tyson had to face some repercussions, his star was on the rise, featuring in the WWE and making numerous television appearances. From here, things never really picked up for the prize fighter, ending his career by quitting in the 7th round in a fight with journeyman Kevin McBride. But one of the biggest scandals would come out in 2013, in the autobiography named The Undisputed Truth. Tyson admitted that after his release from prison, he began doping to improve his performance. He even admitted to using the urine of then-wife Monica Turner to pass these tests and keep earning millions, which begs the question of whether Tyson was actually as good as many people think he was, or if he was simply just another cheat. With the Tyson and Jake Paul fight not making any headway, and the Mandela effect making Tyson seem like a modern-day hero, it remains to be seen whether or not the beloved Tyson will ever step into the ring again. Perhaps his core motivations have changed, from being the best to making money. But should he ever step into the ring again, no one can deny his quality and self-confidence, as seen in this interview from 2000 after knocking out Lou Savarese in just 38 seconds. "I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious, the most ruthless champion there has ever been. There's no one who can stop me. Lennox is a conqueror? No. I'm Alexander, the Great. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anyone as as ruthless.